Like, just down to the very fiber. He wears red and yellow, but he runs with blue lightning. Give him a blue fucking suit then to match everything else he does.
Welcome to the Normal Nerds Podcast. It's time to talk the Snyder Cut. I'm your host, Maxwell Ceresia.
And I'm your host who hates blue lightning, Davis Bates.
That is very true. You do hate the blue lightning.
So much. We're
going to be talking about Zack Snyder's cut of Justice League, the original, what he wanted to put out originally versus that crap, hot garbage that came out of theaters that Josh Whedon just jizzed all over and ruined.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to start out talking about the differences between the two and why we think the Snyder Cut is much better than the original. Not that it's a perfect movie in any sense of the word, but we're just going to talk about the aspects that make it better than the original. Davis started out.
So yeah, definitely the first and foremost reason this movie was better, Steppenwolf.
Absolutely.
Steppenwolf looked so much more interesting, much more scary, much more actual apocalypsy, whatever you want to call it. He's from Apocalypse. Like, he has had a better look to him. I loved his armor that moved with him like that. I loved his face. He didn't have that weird bone structure that made him look like he had a goatee at points. I hated the way the original Steppenwolf looked. He looked so weak and bad. This one looked strong and menacing, and he actually looked like he was an apocalypse monster,
yes,
which is what he is.
Yeah, I totally agree with the way he looked was so much better. The suit was cool.
Oh,
that
was
always
amazing.
Moving. And the character himself better. In the first movie, he was like the big bad evil.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's like the big bad bitch to the big bad evil.
Yeah. Which is what everyone who works for Darkseid is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is how Apocalypse is run. Darkseid is God there.
Absolutely. He's a big old simp for Darkseid. No, yeah, he was just a crap villain in the first one. He didn't really make sense what he was doing. He just wanted to get the mother boxes to destroy Earth, which makes no sense because he's a celestial thing. In this one, it makes a lot more sense. He's just doing it all for Darkseid to get Darkseid back on his favor and all that. So it works so much better in this one.
Right. I definitely agree with that, and that is how Steppenwolf should be. And I like they showcase so many more characters with him too. Like, he was talking to Assad and the Darkseid at one point, and I loved how he interacted with all of them the way he would. He was like coming back with his tail between his legs trying to get his favor back. I loved that. That was so cool.
Yeah, it was much better. Speaking of which, like, on that level, another thing that was much better about this movie is that it made sense. The first one didn't make sense.
Did not make sense.
Sure.
This one did, partially due to the 4 hours it had to story build, but it did just flow much nicer together. Everyone had good backstories. Some we already knew, obviously, from Wonder Woman, and eventually, I think Aquaman technically would have come out after this, but Cyborg himself had a much better backstory as opposed to just being a moody teen who was turned into a cyborg, and he's there.
Way better backstory.
Yeah, I liked how they showed how he interacted with the world so much more. That was like, not the world, the internet so much more. I thought that was excellent. Yeah, I don't think they had that in the first movie. It's been a while since I've seen it.
They did not.
But
they did not.
Seeing that was like, whoa, this is so cool. Like, I loved his narration whenever he did that stuff. That was so good to me.
Yeah, Cyborg was so much better in this movie because he wasn't even in the first movie. The first movie, you never know why he's there. His character is just a moody little bitch, which is not that he's not a moody little bitch in this one, but he kind of grows in this one, and it makes more sense of his existence and whatnot. His story overall is just so much better.
Right.
It just fits. I also like the story of how Superman comes back. Much better.
Yeah, I do too. I remember it's been a long time since I've seen the original Justice League. I think at parts I've tried to burn it out of my brain.
Well, you didn't watch it multiple times?
Oh, God.
No.
I don't think I barely got through one showing of that. I think this was a lot better. It was a lot more put together with their explanation of how they're going to bring him back with the mother boxes and how they need Barry's electricity to do that. I thought it was a better sequence when he like reversed time short, like a little bit.
This piece works a little bit, yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it much better. In the first one, they pretty much were like, we'll use the mother boxes to get him back. All right, toss in the mother box. In this one, I like the way they explained how like it rebuilds particles, and Barry. One thing I did like about this movie too is how Barry and Cyborg had like a kind of a thing going on.
Yeah, they did. They definitely did more than they did in the first one. I still don't like. Everyone was raving about it online. They didn't have as much of a thing as I thought they did.
Oh, it's still not a huge thing.
Yeah, there was a few comments here and there, and then it was Barry needed to be a battery for him half the time. But
it was still a flaw of this compared to Marvel's. It would have been better if like there was a Flash movie and like a Cyborg movie, and that's how they started building relationships.
And I'd be okay with it. Like I'd be okay if they were just more together and funny in this one. Like,
well, this one was not funny.
It was not funny, and that's okay. So DC is definitely darker overall. There are characters who can be funny.
Oh, for sure.
And I thought those two could have been a good duo because they're both very smart and they're both young, so they could have had some funny quibs. But overall, like I like the relationship that they had, and I thought it was very interesting. And I do like that this was a much darker movie than it was a funny one.
Yes,
that's why I did like that a lot.
I think it's one of those things again where it's like they had such a great relationship, and I was on that page too. But it's really, I'm just comparing it to the old one.
I guess that's a fair point, yeah, where none of them should have been a team at all. There was literally no reason binding them together than
exactly.
Steppenwolf's here. I guess we'll try and stop him. Like, there's no reason they should have been there, yeah. As opposed, I liked how Bruce had to track everyone down, and Wonder Woman was helping him. And I liked how there's so much more in depth with their methods of tracking them down. I liked that a lot more.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
That made so much more sense to me.
Even the first scene when Batman's talking to Aquaman there, in the first one, he's just pretty much like, Aquaman, join me. And he's like, no. And that's pretty much the first one. I like in this how Aquaman's points out, he's like, you dress up like a bat, that's weird. And he's like, Superman wants us together. And he's like, how did that turn out for Superman?
That's a good point.
And then Aquaman's like, I just do it alone. In the first one, it was like so fast. In this, it was just like, it made me the whole movie just made way more sense. The story just made we'll get to it. I'm pretty sure your biggest complaint is going to be some casting choices.
Yep. Yeah, we'll get to that. Yep.
We'll get to our complaints later. I would like them to continue the DC universe after watching this. After watching the first Justice League, I wanted the DC universe to die in a hole. Yeah. After Batman vs. Superman and Justice League, I was like, this is terrible. This, I don't think is the best it could be, but I think it showed me that it definitely could be possible if they start doing individual films.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think this set a better foundation than the first one did, and we already have movies. Like the first one, Wonder Woman was great. I really liked the Aquaman, which came out after this, and I really liked Wonder Woman 1984, which I think it has some mixed reviews online. I don't really know if I'm if I'm on the opposite side of this argument, but I thought it was a very good movie. I felt very Wonder Woman-esque, and I loved the villain. So the DC definitely showed me after this that they could make a better movie. And it hasn't erased Batman versus Superman, the first Justice League or anything like that. But this one definitely showed me it's like, wow, you guys can world build and you can do a good job if you want to. And I think a lot of people have already talked about this before. They just need to slow it down.
Absolutely.
I think half the problem they had with the first Justice League was they wanted to be the Marvel Cinematic Universe already. Yeah. And they wanted to found that off of 4 movies, maybe at that, when the Marvel Universe pretty much had a movie for each one of its primary cast, minus Black Woman and Hawkeye. And
you're talking like 20 years of
movies. That was a lot in the making. And the build-up for the Avengers was insane.
Yes.
Like, do you guys remember that? Like, seeing little tidbits at the end of each movie, alluding to the Avengers that were going to happen. Like, I was sitting on that for years, like, when are the Avengers going to happen? And when the Avengers movie got here, I was like, oh my God, it's so good, because I've been waiting at it for so long. I wasn't waiting for the first Justice League. I was just like, here's a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
And now it's Justice League.
Avengers was good.
That's true. That is also very true, yes.
That did help.
I agree that their overall the quality of Avengers was just much better than the original garbage they put out that was the Justice League.
Yes, absolutely.
This feels a lot more like a movie that it still feels like a rush movie to me, because I would have liked to see a movie for each one of the characters. I know this movie was also partially Cyborg's backstory, and I liked how fast they made it fast, but they also got it in there, which was good. But I would like to see a movie for the Flash. I would like to see a movie for Cyborg. We did finally get the Aquaman and Wonder Woman movies, but I think they probably could have stood to build a little bit more in this world before they put out a Justice League movie.
It'd be nice if they built Batman into a universe.
Yes.
Because he always gets his own individual films, and they're always not always good. But
Yes.
majority of them are very good. They
Yes.
milk Batman to as far as they possibly can because, he's the greatest superhero of all time.
You want to know something actually, so we're talking about Batman Fast, that actually in this movie that I really liked that did better was, I don't remember the scene being this cool in the original one, so I could be wrong, but the scene at the very end with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor, I thought was much better than the original one. I'm pretty sure it's different.
It might have been
Because he takes off his helmet and they say who Batman is.
It might have been different.
Now, I remember in the first one they were just sort of like, well, maybe we should do that, and that was about it.
It could have.
Like,
been,
I don't think Deathstroke even spoke in the original one.
I remember him taking his helmet off. I don't know if he spoke.
Okay,
I really don't know if he spoke.
I still hate the casting choice for Lex Luthor.
Oh, it's terrible.
Bad idea.
Absolutely
He's not
terrible.
a Lex Luthor. I love that actor, but he's not a Lex Luthor.
He's a Riddler.
He's a Riddler. He definitely is a Riddler. But this scene, I don't know. I didn't like him that much, but the stuff he did almost did feel like Lex Luthor. And Deathstroke looked so much cooler when he was speaking. And just the line where, like, here's a fun bit of advice if you want to fight the Bat. His name is Bruce Wayne. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, damn, you just got me excited for another movie. Look
They're
at
not
that.
making that for sure.
I know.
I think they're going to restart the entire universe.
I can see that happening. If they can restart it with the same cast they have, I'd be down with that. Almost the same cast they have.
Almost. I think they will restart it. I think they're going to restart it, but I think they're going to keep Aquaman and Wonder Woman for sure.
Oh my god. Yeah. If I actually am a little more on your side with this one now. I do like Ben Affleck as an older Batman.
He's a good older.
He's
Batman.
not a young Batman at all. He's an older Batman. So if they could get him back, I know he left everything because it was so bad. But if they reboot it and they bring him back, I won't be unhappy.
There's a chance because he had a Batman movie. So
yeah, exactly. Although no, aren't they doing Robert Pattinson's now?
They are doing Robert Pattinson, but I don't know what. We don't know.
That does look like a young Bruce Wayne. So
it could be building into a new universe. I doubt it, knowing them.
It could just be like the Joker again, where
I think
parallel, non-existent universe.
I think it's gonna be.
Either way, though.
But let's talk. I'll say a point I like. You say a point you like. Talk about them a little bit, and then we're gonna go off 2 points. We're gonna off a point we both don't like.
Okay.
I'm gonna start out and say my favorite point of the movie. I'm not gonna go too detailed on it, just because we've already been talking about it a lot. Is that the movie makes sense. That's all. I really can't say anything more about it. It just makes sense. And that's all. The first one didn't make any sense. This one made sense from point A to point B to point C to point D. The storyline made sense. Characters getting together made sense. The villain made sense. Darkseid made sense. Everything made sense. We don't really need to go too deep into that because I already talked about it. So if you want to just jump to the point you like.
The point I like is that they did scenes that were previously in the other movie much better. I'm talking in particular the flashback scene to when Darkseid first invaded Earth, and it was Darkseid this time, which was great, as opposed to Steppenwolf, which was dumb, because Darkseid is the invader of worlds. But I liked they did that scene so much better. That whole fight, that like Age of Heroes fight scene with the gods and everything, they explained it so much more. You actually got to see the Green Lantern, which, oh my god, I can't wait for. I love Green Lantern. He actually might be my favorite DC superhero.
I wouldn't be surprised if
his world, his comics are the best on the planet. I hated the Ryan Reynolds movie. When I saw it, I was like, that was garbage. What did I just watch? I was so mad. Thank God I didn't see that in theaters. So I'm very excited to see if they can reboot it into something better, especially after seeing this Justice League where they acknowledge they made something bad and then they had a better version. They let the person finish making that better version and put out something good.
Well, Zack Snyder even said that he wanted Jon Stewart to come in at the end of the movie and talk to Batman, which you see Martian Manhunter do that, which is cool to see Martian Manhunter. I like Martian Manhunter a lot. But Warner Brothers literally told him no because they have plans.
That's fine. Stewart, and that's fine. If they can if they can do the level of quality they've done with Wonder Woman and Aquaman in a Green Lantern movie, I will be happy. Because I love Green Lantern. But I'm sidetracking a little bit here, talking about my Green Lantern love affection there. I just liked, overall, their scenes were better. I know when Superman comes back, the scene is sort of the same, but I'm glad they kept that because that was one of the better scenes they had in the last one. I thought the fight against Steppenwolf was even a better scene. Steppenwolf was obviously different, but then Darkseid showed up through a boom tube, which also, that's the way, like, that is one thing. I never liked the boom tube coming down out of the sky. That never made sense to me because boom tubes just materialize there. Mm-hmm. But then Darkseid's went horizontal, which is the way they're supposed to. And I was very confused, but I liked that they did that because, like, all right, that's the way a boom tube's supposed to look. I don't know why you did it the other way in the first place. But that's overall scene was so much better. And Superman showing up in a black suit was so much better.
Yeah, no, the blacks. You know, we'll talk about it sometime on the podcast. We're definitely going to do it. A general grievance on we're not big Superman fans.
Not at all.
I'm a huge Batman fan, and I love DC. Not that I have any problem with Marvel, but I just grew up watching DC shit, and I love the darkness. I'm always a big noir guy, so DC usually fits a little better. Though, obviously, the Marvel movies have been kicking so much ass, so you can't complain anything about that. But we will talk about Superman sometime and how we're not big fans of him. However, the black suit is cool.
It is very cool, yes.
It is cool.
It's an important suit. It's usually the suit we actually see in the storyline. Actually, this made a lot of sense because the regular storyline where Doomsday kills Superman. Mm-hmm. In that same storyline, usually Superman comes back to life.
Because he always can.
Yes, because he's a fucking god for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, he comes back to life, but then he has to wear that black suit because he's in a weakened state to absorb sunlight better. Like, it amplifies his sunlight absorption. So that's why I was very happy he brought it into this, because technically, like, they sort of held to it. He came back to life, and then he tossed on the black suit,
then shot up towards the sun.
Exactly. Yes. It was awesome. It was a good scene. I do like Henry Cavill's Superman a lot.
I love Henry Cavill.
Okay, I guess that's a fair point. Yes,
I do tough because he's a good actor, not a great actor. But the fact that he is such a nerd, and this jacked nerd, like, he's a normal nerd. That guy is a normal nerd to the fullest.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a quintessential normal nerd. The guy he played, Geralt in The Witcher. When he got the call to play Superman, he was playing World of Warcraft and almost didn't pick up the phone.
Oh, fool!
Yeah, but like, that guy's the man. That guy's the man.
He really is the man. I think he is a very great actor. Actually, I like his Mission Impossible stuff. I have
not seen Mission Impossible.
I've seen bits of Man from U.N.C.L.E., and he was in that. Okay, either way, great movies.
Yeah, he was good as Geralt, and
he was an excellent. He was actually the best. Well, the video game is the best Geralt I've ever seen, but he was a great version of Geralt, and it just made it better because he's a nerd and he loves The Witcher. He's played the games. He's a huge nerd. Played a great Geralt.
Great normal nerd.
I literally can't see Geralt any other way now.
But so let's get back to the.
I know, we're just like we get so off track when we talk about DC Universe.
Standing Henry Cavill right now.
Let's go into the stuff we don't like.
Yeah, let's go to the stuff we don't like. You can start it out because I know you are still not happy about this. Yeah. I'm on your side, but go on.
Yeah. So this is something that I've hated since the first Justice League. I cannot stand Ezra Miller's version of the Flash, or this current version of the Flash they have overall. I don't think Ezra Miller is a good Barry Allen. I don't think he makes sense. Barry Allen's supposed to be intelligent, well thought out, and not just overall goony and dorky the way Ezra Miller made him out to be. That's not who he is. He doesn't even, like, Ezra Miller and him don't even, like, fit the profile at all. So I'm not a fan of that. Going into the actual character the people designed and Ezra Miller just played, I think it's a dumb Flash. He doesn't run right, first off. This weird, like, two-finger, like, I like the slow motion running. That's cool. That's fine. I love the slow motion and everything. But he runs like just like he's throwing his arm out in front of him and then back. That's not how you run. That's not how the Flash runs. The Flash runs like a regular person, just super fast. That's like a big thing in all of the comics. And he doesn't do it right. He always looks like he's like unstable while he's running. It's like, just run. That's what you do. Run, Barry. It's like the thing.
Yeah. I think what they were going for is, which I don't agree with this, but I think this is exactly what they were going for, is they probably told him to move your arms like you're speed skating.
Oh.
Because that's like kind of what he's doing.
Wow, yeah, that is an excellent point, actually. That's what he's doing. He's speed skating.
I
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I think that's what they told him to do, which I agree, I think is stupid.
Terrible.
Yeah, I think it's stupid. Yeah, just run normal.
Oh my God, I hate it. It's just even the good scenes where he's running, where in that last scene where he's running in that giant circle, gathering energy, trying to give it to Cyborg. I hated the way he was running. It was such a cool scene that he was doing. He kept throwing his hand in front of him like this. Like, no, that's not how you run. Have you ever gone for a jog in your entire life, dude? Come on. So I despise that. And The Flash does not get blue lightning this early on. The Flash's lightning is orange and yellowish. That is the way it goes. That is his Speed Force lightning. The super fast speeds, yes, you can hit blue, but he doesn't hit that until he's way older. And even then, in some version, it's like a special type of drug or something that gives him the blue lightning. And you don't just get it. It doesn't mesh with his entire color scheme. Like, just down to the very fiber. He wears red and yellow, but he runs with blue lightning. Give him a blue fucking suit then to match everything else he does. It doesn't make any sense, and it drives me nuts. I've hated this since the first movie. That's not the Flash, and you're pissing me off with it. Just give him better lightning. You probably could have fixed half my gripes with this if you just fixed his lightning and made it right. I still wouldn't like Ezra Miller. I would still despise the way he runs, but just play it to the character at the very least.
I think what he was trying to do, Zack Snyder, and I don't agree with this again, is I think Zack Snyder was like trying to be like, well, lightning's not yellow and orange. It's more like a blue. So let me toss in this blue lightning because it'll look more realistic. It's like, well, it's a guy running at supersonic speed. So we don't really the Batman you can do realistic because he's a realistic person. But Barry Allen, no.
Yes, he's the yellow lightning is his own personal Speed Force. It's a whole thing. But listen, people read the Flash comics; they're great. I love them. Watch the Flash CW show. It's also awesome. But for the love of God, he's not running like he doesn't get this lightning because he's. I don't even know. I don't know why. Like, if that is his argument, we're gonna make lightning hyper realistic. We're gonna make it hyper realistic. Like, that doesn't even make sense for his character. His lightning is out of an actual different force from somewhere else. It's the Speed Force that he channels. That's why it's yellow like that. That's why he can change colors over time. But it's not like regular lightning in the sky, guys. Like, yes, it's electricity still, but it's a special type of energy.
No, yeah, I don't know if he was actually thinking that, but I'm just assuming that's what he was going on with.
Oh, God,
though I would say the Flash scenes for me were the running thing. I totally agree with you, running thing. It looked just the way his like arm, like he looked like a rag doll.
Yes, he did. It was like bad. Like, dude, like
it was stupid. I did enjoy the Flash scenes much more in this movie. I like the whole scene where the rocks are falling, and that was cool because beyond that, every scene the Flash is in is in slow motion. Except for that scene when the rocks are falling and it just showing him moving. I thought that was pretty good.
That was good. I will say I also enjoyed the scene at the beginning there where he saves the girl.
Oh yeah.
All slow motion. But he also wasn't running like a goon during that.
That's true.
That helped. Where he saves Iris. I'm pretty sure that's Iris West, the girl he's supposed to marry. But if he ever gets a movie.
Hopefully not that guy.
Oh my God, don't let Ezra Miller. I don't want him as a Flash.
I'm going to jump to my point, which isn't really much a gripe on the movie itself. I just hate Jared Leto as the Joker so much.
Oh, I did hate that scene. I forgot about that. Wow.
With deep passion. And so this is a big complaint on the internet. A lot of people didn't like this scene. So the end of the movie, it's like a post-apocalyptic world. Batman's wearing a jacket for some reason, even though he's wearing his bat suit already. Whatever. I thought it looked cool. A lot of people didn't like it. I think it looks cool. Fuck everyone, it looks cool. Then you get Deathstrokes with him, which I thought was cool. And I like the idea of like they fucked up something, whatever. It's like a cool, like if this was like a cartoon, like off like, oh, this is going on. And I was like, oh, this isn't so bad. And then I just hear Jared Leto's voice show up. And I was like, oh, well, this entire scene is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Because Jared Leto is the worst Joker ever.
He is terrible. Like, I hated Suicide Squad with a passion. I'm interested in the next movie because that trailer actually looks good. It does look good. The first one was god-awful, terrible. He was probably one of the worst parts of that movie because he just didn't play the Joker right at all. And then, whatever. I can chalk it up to like Anakin Skywalker syndrome where the writers messed him up so much that he was playing a bad character. Fine, whatever. But you get into the Snyder cut and you're still playing a terrible Joker. Like, what is that laugh?
No.
That and that's like the Penguin's laugh at best.
At best. That's like not a Joker. Like the Joker laugh is supposed to strike fear when you hear it. But that's just like Like I hated it's
that.
It's not a laugh. It was clearly Jared Leto, he's a great actor. Requiem for a Dream, Panic Room. He's a really, really good actor and a great performance artist, 30 Seconds to Mars. But you suck as the Joker, dude.
You are really bad.
You suck. And I know it's tough. You got Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger who fucking killed the roles, and you're trying to probably do something a little different. Don't on that level. Like, do not try to do this. Like laugh.
Like, you don't need to break the Joker formula. It's already great.
Yes. So that's why I don't think actually it probably was the writers, because I bet when it comes to the Jokers, the writers kind of just like.
I'm guessing that's probably because especially this scene, I thought like, wow, yeah, this is all him.
Yeah,
this is terrible.
Trash. So that was honestly my least favorite thing about the movie, was that just Jared Leto showing up at the end and ruining everything for me.
Like, he had cool lines too when he was doing, because he was talking about how he killed Robin and everything. Yeah,
but I thought that was awesome.
I like hated it because he was saying it
exactly.
It was bad.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. They're talking about how like Jason Todd, he killed him, and like how Batman couldn't save him because he was like too late and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, and Batman's like, hey, you just watch it and all this kind of stuff. But it's Jared Leto, so it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, it really is stupid.
Also, it makes no sense in the movie at all. But
not the slightest. No.
But let's rank this out of 10 here. You go first.
I'd give this movie a 6.5.
That's a fair score. I was gonna give it a 7, so that's a fair score.
Yep.
It's not a bad movie. Not a great movie.
No, not at all. It's 4 hours long, and I love long stuff. And it took me I had to sit down a couple times to watch it, but the build-up is so much nicer and better. But Ezra Miller's Flash destroys it for me. And I didn't really need Martian Manhunter's like scenes felt kind of useless to me when he was in there, and then Jared Leto at the end kind of just brings it down.
The first scene where Martian Manhunter came in was useless. The last scene, I get it if they told Zack Snyder they were going to build like a whole universe around, and he was like, okay, I got to introduce a character, we're going to start adding more stuff to this. And technically Martian Manhunter is like kind of talking about like Justice League itself and like whatever. But yeah, I would give it a 7. The 4 hours long thing we haven't talked about, I just want to talk about it real quick, is a lot of people complain about that. Here's my only thing. If that was in theaters, I never would have saw it.
Yeah, I don't think I could sit still. I can't go to a theater and like have an intermission in it. It's like, I'm not in a play. I'm here for a movie.
Yeah, I never would have done it. But since they put it on HBO and people are like, it's so long, it's like, okay, so what? Just it's broken to 5 parts. You can just stop at each part.
Pause it. Like, you have the power. That's the power of streaming, everyone. Yeah. That's why it's so good.
But overall, much better than the first one.
Oh, way better.